Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining Dr. Praveen, Dr. Suyog, Dr. Neha ji, Seema ji, Mariam, Archana, Nivedita, Dr. Priyanka, and I think Dr. Mehul has also joined. I've received a couple of messages who will not be joining, but that's okay. As I mentioned in the message that we will be discussing facilitation skills. So, what exactly do I mean by it, by facilitation skills? Write in the chat box what is your idea about facilitation skills. Have I bombarded the question right in the beginning? Okay, help others. Okay. Should I repeat the question? My question is, what is your understanding of the word facilitation skills? Okay, Nivedita says giving comfort. Dr. Priyanka said helping others. Okay. And then arranging the training programs. Okay. Do a session, induction program, giving comfort. Okay. Okay. So how do you think this particular session will help you all? Okay, Simaji has written coordination. Great. How do you think this session is required for this program? Any one of you could unmute and speak actually if you want, but just one person because we can't take too many answers in that. Yeah, enabling these others. Okay, give us insight of tools. Okay, overall satisfaction of our client. Okay, thank you. So you think we require this particular session as part of the master trainer program?
Hello.
Any? Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Ma'am, according to me, facilitation is creating an environment to enable learning to happen.
Wow. So good.
So wherever learning is happening, you give energy and you feel it's going off track, you don't allow it to go off track. So you
Great.
are the point of holding the whole environment of the training to happen.
Thank you, Neha. So I'm asking all others. Do you think we require this particular session as part of the master trainer program, or is there some confusion about it? Because after all, we are investing 2 hours in this particular topic, so that means, we have to be very clear why we need to this. Because I think,
Definitely, ma'am. It's
yeah.
not just the skills of or a knowledge of a certain topic,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely a facilitator should know how to conduct a session wherein what are the do's and don'ts, how to engage the audience, and then probably passing on that knowledge that the person has learned about a certain topic is what is my understanding, and it's definitely very necessary to know how to conduct a session.
Thank you, Lavanya. I think that was the answer I was looking for. And to add to it, actually, see, maybe some of you are already into training, so you are already training. But I think most of the training we all do is from the experience that we have or whatever we learn from each other, and we kind of do the training. And some of us are not into training, but then definitely, I'm sure you must be making some presentations in the conferences, in CMEs, in various meetings. So definitely, if you know how exactly to make it more interesting, engaging, and impactful, it will really help you even deliver your those topics in a more impactful manner. Plus, many of you may not actually turn out to be trainers because maybe you want to learn this subject because this is new and this is not ever taught in a structured manner. So you have just got into this program. But in your organization, I'm sure you will have to get this done for your staff. If you know the structure, if you know the format, if you know the steps, if you know how to go about, then definitely you can guide your team, you can guide your staff how to go about doing this program. So session 3 and 4, third one was how do you design a program, and this fourth one is on facilitation skills. These two topics particularly have kept in the program because I want you to have very clear understanding about how do you go about designing a program and delivering a program. That's the whole idea about. So there'll be a lot of new learning. Maybe some of you already know it. Some of you will really enjoy because you are going to get more clarity on how do you really go about, delivering an impactful program. So that's the whole idea about about this session. Uh, Dr. Seo, yeah, okay, you have muted your this thing. So as I said, uh, mm, I'm repeatedly using this word facilitation, facilitation, facilitation. I could even use training. I could even use teaching, but I'm consciously using this word facilitation. Would somebody like to unmute and tell me why am I using facilitation? Any one person, somebody who has not answered, please. From your understanding, why am I using this word facilitation time and again, and I'm not saying teaching or training?
Because we are all adult learners, so you want us to learn by doing it rather than just giving a one-way
Okay,
training.
okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
as Priyanka has rightly mentioned that this would be for the adult bring their own experiences, and the facilitator or the job of facilitator is to bring out these experiences to the larger audience and make a common understanding or common learning, and these understanding or these lessons are percolated very well.
Thank you for both. Thank you to both of you to giving that answer. See, your audience is going to be adult audience, and Socrates says that you cannot teach anything to anybody, but you can definitely facilitate their learning by asking some good questions and providing them some information in a manner that if they find it useful, they will definitely pick it up and integrate in their life. So, based on the same philosophy, I think we talk about facilitation because we are dealing with, and we will be dealing with adult audience. There, you cannot make them sit and learn, but definitely, if you can create an environment where they kind of become interested in learning, they become interested in your content, they will definitely engage with you, and that's the whole beauty of a facilitation. So it's actually a technique where the a facilitator would help learners discover, acquire, retain, and apply knowledge and skills that they will learn in this session. That's the beauty of facilitation. And therefore, the we don't call it training or teaching, because we are not handling children here. We are handling adults who are already learned, who are already qualified, who already have some background and work experience. So you're just trying to integrate new things into their. So facilitator plays a very big role by not directly giving the information, because it will not be accepted. That's how the human mind functions. If I said something directly to you, probably you will say, no, no, this is not something that's making sense to me. But if you are able to foster curiosity, interest, discussion, and reflection, you will see that people will become interested in listening to you and also agreeing with you, and they will also kind of take that information in, believe you, and also try to kind of try their hands on it. So facilitator, as a facilitator, you will have to really create that environment where they become open to learning, and they become interested in your content, and they start participating and they start sharing. That's where you will be able to very smartly suggest some information that you want them to work on or take in at the right opportunity. So that's the beauty of facilitation. That's why when you just go and do your program with a PPT, like most of us normally do, we'll have a PPT and we'll just go and talk about that PPT, show that PPT. You will see a lot of people do not even get interested in what we are talking. Right from their body language or their facial expression, you can make out that they're just sitting there because they've been asked to sit there, but they don't participate. Especially more senior they are, more unlikely they are to accept what you are saying. And this session will help you. How do you really get their attention? How do you really make them interested? So before we go further, I think I would like to understand and also discuss, what do you think is the difference between teaching and facilitation? Right in the chat box. So let's call first, what do we mean by teaching? So what is the difference in teaching and facilitation? Please write in the chat box. Okay, teaching is more of one-way communication. Absolutely, spot on. Yes, it is imparting knowledge one way. Yes, I think both of you have given the same answer. Okay, Archana says teaching is like taking a lesson and taking exam. Okay, correct. Teaching is one-way process and facilitation. Teaching is simple. Yes, I agree because it's you. It's a direct. You are imparting some information and knowledge to your participant. Absolutely. Any other difference that you can think of? Okay, how about facilitation? What is facilitation? And how is it different from teaching? Okay, Neha has written it's one way teaching and facilitation is interactive. Absolutely, spot on here. Yeah. Facilitation is with reflective questioning. Okay, that can be one of the ways where you make people participate. And okay, teaching is the passing information straight away, while facilitation is through provoking. Absolutely. So that thought provoking. That means you are making them think and come up with the answer. So facilitator does not give any answer. Facilitator gets the answer from you. You have all the information, you have all the knowledge, and when all of you participate and contribute, I may have one reply, but I get 14, 15 replies from all of you and new set of information. So facilitation is asking the right question. I think that's a very smart statement, Mariam. Absolutely. I think as a facilitator, if you know what question to ask, like Dr. Praveen said, thought provoking question. If you know, if you can ask right question, you will definitely be able to make your participants or audience think and then come up with information that will make a lot of sense for everyone. Okay, facilitation brings the best practices out of audience. Okay, that's also an interesting this thing. Facilitation is like making them understand by using different methods of understanding. Absolutely. So you are not directly giving them any information, but you are engaging them and making them learn through participation and experience sharing. Yes, it's a group and team building. Practical training, absolutely. Wonderful. Teaching reminds of school. That's true, Lavanya. I think very right, because that's what actually the school teaching is. So let me quickly share a slide with you to help us see what more differences can we identify in the in teaching and facilitation. I think most of it you have already covered, but just to make sure that we don't miss anything. So as one of you said that it's actually a passive way of learning because it's a one way. So it's the teacher who is delivering and the listener who is listening. uh, in teaching actually it's there's no place for illogical ideas. So you will see anytime if a student says something which is not making sense, we have seen teachers literally snubbing the student and saying, what is this? You can't talk nonsense. This is not making sense. So they don't give even the benefit of doubt that maybe this idea has some sense and let's explore it. But we straight away say no, this is not going to work. Then learning is directed and controlled because usually there is one person with subject knowledge. There are children or students who do not know anything. It's assumed that the students do not know anything. So whole direction and control is done by mostly the faculty, the teacher. And teacher is always separate from the learner because it's assumed that the teacher knows everything and the students do not know much. So as a result, there's a huge gap between the two parties. And then usually in teaching, the learning is through fixed course material. Teacher will always have a syllabus on mind, will always have some questions on mind, some examination system, some assessment system on their mind. Usually this kind of teaching happens in academic setup. On the other side, the facilitation actually is active because both the parties are participating, both the parties are interacting. At the same time, all ideas are appreciated. You will see, like when we all discuss, and some of you come up with very close to the actual idea, I still appreciate because you are participating, you are coming up with the answer. So that means you are thinking about it. Therefore, all ideas are appreciated. Then learning is through participation. If you remember the first email that I sent you with the Zoom link, I very clearly mentioned that unless you will participate, your learning will not happen. So you really need to have your camera on, try answering, even the wrong answer is wrong. It's perfectly all right. But learning will only happen when you will participate. And then, of course, facilitator is not from any sky or a different planet. Facilitator is part of the group. And I mean, a lot of time I learn from all of you. or a lot of time it changes my perspective when I get to hear from your side of story. So I'm part of you, and as a facilitator, you have to remember when you deliver your programs, never act as though I'm subject matter expert and you don't know anything. They know it, maybe not in that structured manner, maybe not in that manner that you want to deliver, but most of it almost everybody knows. And then of course the experience of the learners are always valued, because as I said, a lot of learning happens only because of the experience that we all share with each other. And that's why experience based learning or experiential learning it is called, because we know that it's only when you are able to experience something, you will become open to the idea of learning. Now, before we go further, it will help us to understand how is adult learning different from the regular learning. Can you think of the differences? How is adult learning different from the regular learning that we get to see?
Adult learner is supposed to be more motivated,
Mhm.
and
But then
it's
you please remember, adults are not easy to be motivated.
supposed to be. That's why I said supposed to
If
be
that
more
happens,
motivated.
I think that would be the ideal situation. But we all know it is not easy to motivate adults. It is easy to motivate children. You can quickly get their attention and make them participate. But with adults, they take a lot of time to open up also. So that's one challenge with adults. Actually, it's one of the challenges that you will come across when you will do your programs. Okay, wonderful. Adult know it all. Oh, that not only that they know it all, but they also believe that they know it all, and they will always. That's a wonderful,
Ma'am,
Neha.
actually,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, ma'am.
yeah.
and
And then
sometimes it is
Madhavan,
difficult to impress the adults, no?
yes, it's very difficult to help them believe that yes, maybe
Ma'am,
you can
actually,
add some
we can
value
Yeah.
to
acquire
the
knowledge,
knowledge.
fine.
Yeah, yeah. Then it's a collaborative
Madam,
approach.
regular learning, we acquire knowledge.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear who is answering.
Yeah, ma'am, Nivedita this side.
Okay, Nivedita, I
Hello.
think there's some
Yeah, ma'am.
network issue at your end, so your voice
Yeah.
quality is not. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool.
Are you getting my voice right now?
It's
Are
better
you
now.
getting my voice?
Yeah, go ahead. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Ma'am, regular learning is that we are acquiring knowledge. Okay.
Mm,
But
mm,
adult learning, already a knowledge inside our brain, which we
mm.
cannot wash it out. It is very
Yes,
difficult to wash that knowledge.
very right. I think
Yeah.
Nivedita has brought in a beautiful point. They have to unlearn something and relearn something. So it's a longer process, difficult, and it's very difficult to believe that what I know I need to unlearn. It's I think you are spot on, Nivedita, when you put
Yes.
this, and that's one of the biggest challenge as a facilitator you will have, when you will be when where you have to make them feel that what you think I'm doing is right is not right, and you need to let that go and learn a new way. How difficult it is. And that too with learned people, with educated people, with professionals, you'll find it very hard to make them believe that yes, you need to work on the way you are handling situations or you are dealing with people. Wonderful. Okay.
And then this
Someone has
adult people, sometimes they ask the references. From
Yes,
where did you get this?
yes.
From where?
So,
मतलब they
so Seema
always
ji,
ask
last
कि
session.
ये कहाँ से मिला आपको?
Absolutely.
मतलब sources क्या हैं इसके? So if you are not very much knowledgeable, I think it is very difficult to teach the adult people because
Absolutely.
they have enough knowledge already. So they मतलब ask something very deep questions also.
So
So we
if you
have to be
remember,
very
Madam, knowledge
Seema
means
ji,
thorough
Google
with the
knowledge.
subject.
hold on. Seema ji, if you remember last time in the last session, this is what I said. Whenever you make a statement or whenever you share some information, make sure that
Note
at
down,
the bottom
yeah.
you give the source. That itself will add to your credibility, and it becomes easy for them also to believe. They are
Exactly,
right
yeah.
in their place. They are right because they want to be very sure that they are taking in some information and they are going to take an action based on this information. Is this information coming from a reliable source? So you will already have to add on this so that they don't doubt your information. Absolutely.
yes,
So I can see
yes.
some more beautiful comments coming in, and then I'll show you another slide to tell you about adult learning. So yes, it is collaborative. And Archana says most of the adults are not ready to learn new things. Yeah, that's also another problem, because we think we know whatever, and that's why we don't need to learn something. Yeah. Then I can see adults know it all, children are curious. Okay. Unlearning is difficult for adults. Yes, attention span may be low. Uh, so it is not about attention span, honestly, if I tell you. If they become interested, they will go to any length to learn something. But to make them interested is probably one of the biggest challenge. Because this, like some of you said, that they believe that I know it all. I don't need to learn. I'm already doing it well. So that becomes a barrier in learning something. So I'm going to share an interesting, uh, okay, Google is the big teacher for adult. I agree. And as a result, they feel that we don't need to, really learn that. Absolutely. So adults, they really, have different learning style. So how many of you have seen this sign, board on the roadside? And what exactly is this signboard?
School ahead.
Okay, school ahead. Okay. So how many of you slow down when you see this board on left or right? Usually on the left, sorry. In India, it is left. Yeah. How many of you really, really slow down?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we
Okay.
always.
How many of us really slow down when we see that board 60 miles or 60 kilometers per hour or 40 kilometers per hour?
Always, ma'am, because the speed cameras are there now.
Some of you, I'm sure you must be doing. Some of you must be
Yes.
doing. But
Yes.
a lot of time we know, but I don't know how many of us really use. So, what is the difference between awareness and consciousness? What do you think is the difference between awareness and consciousness?
अवेयरनेस की पता है कि सही क्या है और गलत क्या है, कॉन्शियसनेस की वो इंटेग्रिटी के साथ आता है कि ये करना ही है.
Correct. So awareness is consciousness is do we apply that knowledge? So as I said, we see such boards on left and right, slow down, curve ahead, left turn, right turn, no entry. But do we really follow all the rules that are there on the roadside? Similarly,
Again, there is a big fine we have to follow.
correct. That's also out of fear. But how many of us really respect that rule? For example, if there's red light during the day, we will stop. But if it is red light at night, how many of us really stop and wait it to be green? That's a question to be asked. Similarly, we all know that we are supposed to be, more respectful with our subordinates and staff and patient. But how many of us genuinely, do that in real sense? I think you can tell me better. You know it better. Next is we all have, different learning style. So I gave that questionnaire in the group. I hope all of you have you have worked on that questionnaire. All of you have done? And all of you have your ABC score? Okay.
I had a problem with that form and format.
Is it?
Initially, there was a Google form where we could answer it, tick it. So I really did not know. I am not really very techno savvy. So I put a question also there. So I'm not able to. Otherwise, I'll write down all the questions and all the
Somebody
answers and
had
take something
colored
that
it,
was
so I
practically
just
not
used that
possible.
one. Yeah.
I thought someone will guide me how to go about it.
Yeah, I'm
But
extremely
then I
sorry.
think
Actually,
Mehul said no need to.
share.
Yeah, no need to share.
Yeah,
So
the second was that format was there where you were asking for which topic you are going to take. In that, I wrote my name against that topic, but then that computer was asking me now save, where save, Google Drive, cloud, and all
No,
that, or
no,
discard the changes. So there was
I
no
get
option to just pass it on. So
I get it.
I found it
Actually,
little difficult there also. So I just wrote a message. This is my topic and this is my name. I don't know whether you could.
My apologies,
So
Dr. Praveen.
you will
Actually,
have
I
to
was
you will have to
extremely
bear with some of us who are not very technically literate.
absolutely no problem. Absolutely
So
no
that's why I
problem.
could not answer your
No
this
problem. No
questionnaire
problem.
today. Yeah.
My apologies. Actually, for the last 4 days, I was so much occupied that I didn't have even 10 minutes time in between. Otherwise, I'm very prompt to answer and also help. But these 4 days have been extremely, busy for me. The idea of giving that questionnaire was that maybe I will not have time on the last day to, send that. So I sent in advance. You just had to, count the number of A, B, and C for you. For example, to each question, if your answer was A, B or C, it could be either of them. So you just had to finally count the number of A, number of B, and number C. That's the idea. You can do it even now, later on also. There is no problem. But I think if you will listen to the discussion, you will find it, more interesting. So if your whichever your highest number of answer is A, B, or C, that shows your primary way of interacting with the world and also representing the world to yourself. For example, if you have more A, that means you are a visual person. That means you would interact with the world and also represent to yourself in a visual manner. You must have seen some of us, if we are given some instruction or some direction verbally, we just do not like it. We want to see the map in front of us. For example, if you tell me, if I share my experience with all of you, my husband initially, I'm not talking about now, I'm talking about 20, 25, 30 years ago. So when we were also in the settling time, so once in a while when he would visit his friend's clinic, who had just started his clinic, he'll come home and he'll try to explain to me, oh, he has started a very beautiful clinic. Go straight inside, and then left side is the reception, and then on the right side is the waiting area. Move little further, and there is a consultation chamber on the left, and this is on the right. And I would really get bugged. Don't explain me, because I was not able to see. Later on, when I worked on myself, I realized I am a visual person. So for me, unless I am able to see something in front of me, I don't learn. It's not easy for me to, interact with that. Similarly, some of you are very good at, listening and understanding. So for those of you who have highest score on B, that means you are very comfortable with auditory learning. If anybody explains you something, you will be more than happy to understand and also explain also. Similarly, if you have highest number of C, that means you really interact at an emotional level, where you engage with people and self and the world in emotions. So I can see some answers in the chat box. I think all of you have written your answers. Okay, Archana, you have 8 A's, so that means you are a visual learner. You are happy if you are able to interact with the outer world at visual level. Okay, if I look at Mariam's score, although all three scores are in the same range, but 6 is highest, which is C. That means again at the emotional level you would interact better. Then Dr. Mehul has written 6A, 5C, 4B. So your scores and Mariam's scores are more or less alike, you can say. But at the same time, visual and emotional would impact you more. You will interact. So why do you think I gave you this questionnaire? Why do you think I gave you this questionnaire?
To understand ourselves better.
Okay, great.
To understand the other person better. So you need to realize that you may learn it a certain way, but other people may want to learn it a different way. If you are going to be a trainer and you're going to be a person who's going to be teaching, you probably need to have equal attention into all these three ways of putting forward your point in order for more of the public to accept it and to understand it, rather than only a few amount of people to learn it and understand it.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the whole idea why I gave you this questionnaire. See, 15 of us and all of us have a different learning style, different preference for audio, visual, or content representation. Similarly, when you will do programs for your audience, you will come across people with different learning preferences. You will not be even able to check, because I think this questionnaire which I gave you, I don't think you will be able to pass on to every participant to do and tell you. So the best way is make sure that your presentation is a mix of all three. If you will make a mix of audio, visual, emotions, and kinesthetic, you will see automatically you will be ultimately engaging everybody. And nowhere it says if somebody is visual 8 and it auditory will be 0. Not that. Usually it's one of the area is better, maybe used more to interact, but then others are at least participating. So make sure when you are making your content and you're presenting it to adults, if it is only auditory, some people will immediately get disconnected. If it is just visual and nothing else, half the people will be sleeping. If it is only emotions, some people may even start arguing with you that what is the point of bringing in so much of emotional content to a scientific subject. So therefore, it's a good idea to have a mix of all 3 or 4, rather 4, so that you make sure that everybody ultimately gets engaged. So that is the difference in the learning style. Now, next is adults unlearn slowly. So you saw just now somebody was mentioning about the need to unlearn because they have already learned something in a particular way, which may not be right or really helpful. So if they need to learn a new way, actually they have to have unlearning and then relearning. So it becomes little longer process for them. Now, how many of you are right-handed? How many of you write with the right hand? All of you? All of you? Okay. So write your name with your right hand in your notebook. Okay. So Neha, you can write with your left hand. The hand that you use, please write with that. Now, use the other hand that you do not use regularly and write your name. Was it easy? And if I asked you to do everything with the non-dominant hand, will it be easy? Not easy. Not easy.
Little tough.
Yeah. That means we are so used to doing something in a particular way that if we are made to do the same thing in some other way, it's not comfortable. Let me tell you, this is still a very big example I'm giving you. Change your pillow, change your bed, change your bed cover, change even your the quilt that you take. You will not be able to sleep because the mind has been so conditioned to particular way that it is very difficult to do something in a different manner. So the problem with adults is they unlearn slowly. So we are so much used to using PPT. How many of you use PPT for your presentations and discussions? Raise your hand. Almost all of us. Almost all of us. Now, if I ask you, do not use PPT, do you think it will be easy? It's not easy. It's not easy because we are so much used to it. Although we all know that PPT is probably, it should be the last option. If you have no other way, only then you should use PPT. Because people are not really very appreciative of PPT. They prefer something more interesting and lively. So, but it is not easy to change. So, as I said, adults they unlearn slowly. Then the next thing is they like to share their experience. If you allow them to share their experience, they are more than happy. They are more than happy. Now, I'm sorry, a lot of time I have to stop you actually. A lot of time it appears I'm interrupting you, and I feel bad for doing that. But I feel if I will not stop you, I will not be even able to cover 50% of what I have on my mind to cover in that session. Because all of you have so much of experience that you feel like sharing with everybody. You feel like sharing your knowledge with others. So with adults, they enjoy sharing their knowledge, so you can make use of this. That's another learning we have to remember when we are interacting with adults. Okay, now let's see which is the next one. As I said, they unlearn slowly and they also like to share their experience. And also, they take time to change. With kids, it's easy to change them. But with adults, it is not easy to change, because if it does not fit into their frame of reference, there is lot of resistance to change. Lot of resistance to change. Therefore, when you tell adults do this in this manner, they're not willing to change. They are not happy to change, because it takes a lot of time and it is not easy for them to change. So if I put all these things together, it comes as adult. Awareness versus consciousness, difference in their learning style. They unlearn slowly, they like to share their experience, and they take time to change. That's an adult. That's an adult. Another concept that will help us understand adult learning in an interesting way is called HUMDA, concept of HUMDA. So with adults, you will always see that they first like to hear and then they would like to understand. If they think it's making sense to them, that is where they will go deep into it and try to evaluate and meditate on the content. If they're okay with that, if they find the message meaningful, useful, then that's where they will actually digest it and also apply it. So this concept is called HUMDA. So this, please remember this acronym also. It will help you in remembering when you are dealing with your adult audience that it's not easy for them also to learn, because their processing inside is not very straightforward like children. So we have to remember these principles, and these principles will help us in designing our program effectively. So when you're designing your session or a program or facilitating a program, please remember, if you are able to help the audience understand the purpose of that program or a session, they will align better with you. So if you have observed, every time I introduce a topic, I ask you, how do you think we are going to use it? Why do you think we need it? How are we going to be benefited by learning this? So when I bring this up, I get answers from you, and all of us get clarity that why we need to learn this. Because a lot of time, even I have this doubt: will you like this session or not? Particularly facilitation skills and designing program, because it is not clinical communication; it is something outside. But then I have to help you understand that it is a master trainer program. So because we are also learning to be a trainer, so therefore these two topics have been integrated with the complete program. So when you are able to help them understand the purpose, you will see they will become interested. Then if you are able to create the need to learn, they will learn faster. So how can you create need to learn? For example, about communication program. How can you create need to learn? Okay. Ask them where they lack. Nobody will come out. Priyanka, nobody will come out if you ask them what do you lack. They say no. I know everything. People lack. I don't lack.
But I think this platform, everybody has joined on their own, or unless someone has been forced to join. So that's the whole.
In this program, it is different. In this program, that's why I don't face that challenge. But when you will do your programs for your audience,
we can show them some videos or case studies and ask them to show how it can be done better.
Okay, that's a good,
Yes.
good idea. That's a
So
good
probably
idea.
they will understand that there is something, some lacuna there.
Okay, so that means you have to provide some evidence.
Evidence,
Where they
yes.
realize, oh my goodness, so many medical errors. That means I need to communicate. That's where they will realize. Yeah. So I can see Suyog has written by demonstrating what they need. Again, yes, indirectly you are making them aware what we are lacking. Directly, if you ask what you lacking, what you lack, or even if you say what you lack, they will give you 110 reasons that we know we don't lack anything. It is people who lack. But it's only through some data, some evidence you are when you are able to demonstrate that yes, we need to learn when we lack this. Lavanya, you want to say something?
So I just want to make a point here. When I conduct a session in my hospital, so many a times the participants are putting the blame on the patients. कि patient ये कहता है, patient ये कहते हैं, then I have to draw them to the main topic कि अब I can't train the patients and how they have to talk and what they have to say. So mostly this is a challenge.
So a lot of time, see, maybe when I deliver my programs, I do not blame anybody. That's one approach I keep in my mind. I don't blame the doctors. I don't blame the healthcare providers. I don't blame the patient. I take their focus to the changing communication needs of patients. So if you remember the first session that I took with all of you, I never said that we are poor communicators or patients are like this. No, I just said things are changing. And with the medical students, especially, I tell them very clearly if you are not perceptive of the changes, you are going to be outdated. So you really need to know what is happening in society, what is happening with your patient, what is their communication need, what do they ask for you. And then I also, when I help them see, by learning communication, you get what you want. You want more patients, you want more work. And communication, studies have shown that the healthcare providers with good communication outperform all others. So without, blaming anybody or targeting anybody, if you're able to help them see the benefits of learning or ill effects of not learning. And I have a lot of stories to tell where the doctors did not communicate well or the nurses did not communicate well, and they ended up into problem. And we all know the medical errors that happen because of communication failure. So, but you have to make sure that unless you are able to create that need to learn, people will not learn. So if you can show somewhere their benefit and then also show the ill effect or the consequences of not communicating well, that is where you will see that they will ultimately have desire to learn.
Basically, this is a principle of change management.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means you actually trigger that by making them aware of the consequences of not communicating well. So once you have done this, also please remember, if you are not able to engage your audience right from the beginning, you will lose your audience. So therefore, sometimes some people are not talking, and then I have to request that I want somebody who's not saying anything. Please come up with an answer. Please give me an answer. So engaging has to be done right from the beginning. And I would say the best way to engage your audience is throw questions at them. But of course, the questions have to be right, interesting, doable, answerable. Then you will see you will get lot of answers and lot of engagement from your participants. The climate has to be friendly and informal. Anytime if you'll try to bossify or you will try to say, oh, I know it all, you don't know anything, and I'm here to teach you, you have already lost the battle. So with adults, please remember they may be almost of your age or maybe older than you, maybe more experienced than you, more knowledgeable than you. There's a possibility they may be more knowledgeable than you. And there, if you try to show your knowledge and your expertise, no. Get into the group, get into the audience, become a part of them, and then probably they will realize that you have done your homework, so maybe you know more than them. Because after all, when you will go to present something, you must have done some extra hard work. You must have done some systematic study. You must have done some systematic preparation. So definitely you will be knowing more than your audience. But that does not have to be kind of, shown and proved through your communication, through your delivery. You have to kind of establish that. But verbally and through your non-verbal, anywhere if you are appearing to be bossifying, it will go against you. Also, please remember that their experience has lot of value. So if you relate and acknowledge their experience, one, it will be good learning for everybody. So for example, even in our group, we have doctors, we have nurses, we have administrators, we have quality people, we have HR people. So everybody has their own set of experience. So when you all share your experience, others get to learn from you. Same way, if you are able to create that environment where they not only share their experience, but you relate and acknowledge their experience, automatically they will become interested. They'll feel like, adding value to whatever is happening. And then at the same time, please remember, you need to be thorough with your subject knowledge. Because if you are not thorough with your subject knowledge or with your training pedagogies, you will be thrown out anytime. So you really need to really be very, very well prepared for handling, because a lot of time you will have audience who would ask you questions that you will not be able to kind of imagine. This time when I went to this hospital, as I said, I was at Bangalore for 4 days. So one person who was head of the department of physiotherapy, his opening sentence, the moment I had just put my first slide on this, do you have any experience in hospital? Madam, have you worked in any hospital? Or you have just come with a theoretical understanding? I just smiled at him. And I said, sir, I have worked in hospital for 10 to 12 years. And also I have my own clinic with my husband who is practicing ophthalmologist. We have a small setup, but I have an idea what happens in a healthcare. 2 days, he did not, deter from nudging me every now and then. Of course, in the end, he said, ma'am, I'm really amazed by your energy and your patience, that you didn't lose your control in spite of me kind of throwing so many questions and awkward questions to you. Not even once you said that it's a silly question and why are you disturbing others. You will really require that kind of patience when you will actually deal with them. I think I shared earlier also with you, when in spite of being in these kind of trainings for good 20, 30 years, there came a couple of programs where I felt that I really need to learn how to handle situations where some of the audience are just not with you. I'm talking about 2014 or 15, I think. In those days, I spent 45,000 rupees and I did a program with Dale Carnegie. It was a 3 days program, train the trainer program. I did that program just to learn how do you go about handling difficult audience. It was an extremely useful, training for me. The beauty of the training was that trainer did 3 days training from morning much before 9. The timings were 9 to 5, but he would start at even 8:30, because we would reach there by 8:30. He would start at 8:30 and go on till 6 o'clock. And can you believe, not even a single slide he showed us. Not even a single slide. He had his presentation with him. Off and on, he would see the presentation, but not even single slide he showed us. And he kept all, and we were 40, 45 of us. And he kept all of us engaged. I learned a lot from that program. That's what I always share with my audience also, so that you all also pick up those things and implement when you are doing training program. And the benefit of that particular training was, when I went to another hospital. It was a government hospital. So in government hospital, you all know when people retire at the age of 62, they don't retire, but they become consultant and come back to the hospital. So they don't hold administrative position, but they are there in the system. So one of the very senior consultant, the moment I put my slide on, he was sitting on one side, and there were almost like 40, 45 doctors, professor, associate professor, residents, and everybody. And the title of my first slide was importance of healthcare, importance of communication in healthcare industry. That was the title. So this gentleman, he says, ma'am, healthcare is not industry. How can you call healthcare industry? It's not industry. Had it been my old self, I would have fought tooth and nail with him to prove that healthcare can be called industry. But I had undergone Dale Carnegie's program. I smiled and I said, do you think it's not the right word? No. Healthcare is not industry. So thank you so much. I'll definitely consider this. There were so many people just waiting to see what happens. And they were not with me in any case because I was new to them. That consultant was their hospital staff. I was new. I was outsider. I just stopped I didn't get into an argument or in discussion with him, and I moved on with my topic. So these are the skills you will have to have in your pocket when you do training program. And my recent experience I've shared with you just yesterday. Then he took a picture with me. He said, ma'am, I have never taken any picture with any, faculty, but I'm so impressed with your, facilitation skill that I want to capture a picture and keep it with me for my memory. That's what you will get when you are able to facilitate your program effectively. But you have to be 200% prepared. 200% prepared. They can ask you any type of question, but you need to be ready with that. So going further, let's also understand. So you wish to say something? Anybody wants to say something or ask anything? Okay. So as I said, let's understand how do we go about preparing for it. We have understood that with adults, it's not like regular preparation. We need to have some things in mind that will help us get ready for the delivery more impactfully. Now, certain more guidelines that will help us to prepare better for it. So there is a thumb rule called 10:1. What exactly we mean by 10:1? What do we understand by the term 10:1?
Number of the group.
Number of?
How many trainees in a group? One trainer and for the.
Okay. Thank you for answering, but that's not the right answer. Somebody else?
Preparation should be more effective than expecting answers. Expecting more questions so that you prepare more, and it's something like that.
Okay, another good guess, although it is not the right answer, but it's an interesting guess that you made. So the whole
I think, madam, has got to do.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
10 words on one slide, maybe.
Okay, that's another good guess. Somebody else was saying something. Was that Dr. Mehul?
Speak one and listen 10.
Sorry?
Speak one and listen 10.
Okay. Again, good guess. Dr. Mehul, you were saying something. Go ahead.
I was trying to say probably 10 sentences per slide or something like that. That was what I was trying to say.
Okay. So when I'm
Hello.
talking, yeah.
I think, ma'am, we need to prepare 10 times more than required.
Wow, I think we can clap for Neha. Everybody can clap for Neha. Wonderful. Yes, you need to prepare 10 times more than, like 10 times. Spend 10 times time, for the time of presentation. For example, if it is a 30 minutes presentation, and especially if you are a beginner, please spend 10 times the time to prepare for that presentation. To some, it might appear too much, but more, thorough prepared you are, more confident you will be. So initially, at least, do not hesitate spending time on it, because it requires very meticulous planning, and then designing in a manner that you integrate all activities, pedagogies, where you are able to actually engage, to the extent you could even have the questions ready that you want to ask your audience. Till date, I do that. I would have my questions ready on my whiteboard in front of me, that I even need to ask these questions so that I can get their attention. So never be overconfident. No, I've done it 200 times and I can do it. Till date, though I don't spend not 10 times the time, because my presentations are almost ready and my content is ready, but then I visit every slide once again, and almost every time I will either change the order of the slide, or I will change some content, or I'll say, no, this is not going here, this has to go here. That's because when I see this is not making sense, I would change it. But never assume that because I've done it so many times, I don't need to do it. As one of you said, know far more than you will ever use, almost like 3 times more than what you are going to present, because you never know, your audience, your participants may ask you something, and if you don't know the answer, you're gone. It's all, I'm not saying that you need to know answer to every question. It's not practically possible. But if it is 1 or 2 questions, if you say, I'm sorry, I don't know, let me find out and get back to you, nobody will mind. But if I'm asked 10 questions, and in out of 10 questions, for 6 or 7 I say, I'm sorry, I don't know, let me find out and get back to you, then you will say, ma'am, please first find out and then come and take class. So you really need to be ready with, and not answer for the sake of answering, with evidence, with clarity, with very, with knowledge. When you will answer, that's where your credibility will establish as a trainer, as a subject matter expert. Again, when you're planning some activities or some pedagogy that is not like role plays, storytelling, puzzles, please remember, they will take much longer than planned. You may think, oh, it's 10 minutes activity. You never know, participants might ask questions, participants might start answering, giving answers, so you will not feel like stopping them when they are discussing and sharing their thoughts. So most of the activities you will see, it will take longer than planned. And then plan for both smaller and larger than the anticipated group. A lot of time this will happen, that you prepared for maybe 20-30 people, you went to present there, and it was a huge hall filled with people. This has happened with me a lot of time. So, and it can be the other way around, that you thought that there will be at least 30-40 people, and then, especially in conferences, I've seen, very sad, in conferences I've seen that you go with all the possible preparation and you see only 4 people sitting, 5 people sitting. I'm honestly, I have now started refusing to go and speak in the conference, because it's waste of time sometimes. There's no audience, nobody's interested, and why the hell do they have that kind of expenditure? I don't know. Sorry, I'm digressing from the topic. But then please be ready for something like this, because you will be invited for a lot of conferences to present without audience also. I have even experienced this. Sorry. Now coming to the training format. So training format, what I mean, so when you have to present, there is an order how you will be doing it. For example, sequence. So when I say sequence, I mean, it could be something like you start from simple to complex. So when you design your content, you will take it from something which is easy to understand, and then you will take it to complex. So even if you look at the list of topics that I have shared with you, which we will be covering in the total 10 weeks time, I have kept very simple topics to start with, laying foundation. And then as we will move further, you will see the complexity of topics will change. Towards the end, we are going to talk about disclosure of medical error, breaking bad news, handling aggressive patient party, understanding patient's expectation. So that is, you are starting from basic to advanced. So I'm sure in surgery you must have all learned this. So before you learn to start to operate, you have to first learn to how to suture a clean lacerated wound. because it's considered one of the basic steps to surgery. Similarly, the second sequence could be concrete to abstract. Can somebody explain me this? Can somebody explain to me? What is concrete to abstract? Okay, no problem. How many of you have you heard the word SOP?
SOP.
SOP? Almost all of you? What is SOP? What is
Standard
SOP?
of procedure.
Standard operating procedure. We know it now. Thankfully, we are not at least familiar with this term. How many of you are comfortable writing SOP? Raise your hand. Okay, very nice. 3, 4, 5, 6. Wonderful. How many of your staff members are comfortable writing SOP for their work? Not really. Not really. I know it's not easy. Okay. So if I have to talk to my, say, group of nurses and I want them to write SOP, and I know SOP is not easy, it is difficult, and even the whole idea of writing SOP is not very easy. So what I do with them is I ask them, how many of you can make a cup of tea? I'm asking all of you. All of you can make a cup of tea? So can you tell me, how do you make that cup of tea? Can somebody explain to me? How do you make your cup of tea? बताओ भाई.
Take water, put the tea
Pick
tea
a
powder in it.
saucepan, add half a
Let
cup
it
of
let it
water, put it on the burner, switch on the burner, let the water boil, add whatever you want to add. If you want to add adrak, if you want to add tulsi, if you want to add something, add, and then sugar and tea and boil, and then milk. Then let it boil for some more time, then you filter and you have. Is that all?
Switch off the gas.
Switch off the gas. Excellent. Archana has added a point. So just now we have discussed the SOP of making a cup of tea. Same way, whatever you are doing, just write down those steps and then refine it, whatever point you are missing, and get it validated or vetted by others. And you will get to know what steps you are missing. And you are writing SOP of maybe giving an injection or giving an enema or, catheterization, whatever procedure nurses and doctors do. Now, what I have done, I have taken them from concrete to abstract, from familiar to unfamiliar. Something that is understandable, imaginable, believable, to something that they have not done, but once they do, they will be able to. Your presentation of the topic could be something like this, starting from concrete to abstract. So that's also one of the sequence you can follow when you are introducing a topic to your audience. Third could be known to unknown. Can you give me an example of known to unknown? Anyone?
The thing which they know, we have to discuss that first by asking some questions. And then slowly we have to take them something new which we want to tell them.
Excellent, excellent. So similarly, everybody knows how to wash hands. Now, if you want to teach them the right way of washing hands, so you kind of first ask them to show how do they wash hands. So that's something they already know. And then if you show them the 7 steps that you want to teach them to wash hands, they will learn the right way of doing it. So training format could be sequence, which could be simple to complex, concrete to abstract, known to unknown. Or it could be steps. When we say steps, it could be tell them, show them, let them do. So for example, you're teaching them something, you first tell them how to do it verbally, Then you show them how to do this verbally and then let them do. For example, conducting patient interview or addressing complaints or handling aggressive patient party. You tell them how to do, how to handle that. Then you give them a demo of how to handle that situation, and you make them practice, and then ask them to give you, display. So that also can be one of the training format that you can use in your programs. Then coming to the basic structure of the presentation. Last time also, if you remember, we discussed that every presentation will have majorly 4 points. One is opening, the message, the evidence, and closing. When you are preparing for your presentation, make sure that all segments are very carefully prepared, planned. Every part of the presentation is very important. Opening, then the message, then the evidence that you need to provide for your message, and then how do you go about closing it. So at this point, if I ask you, what different ways do you use to open your session? Those who are already into training and those who are familiar with this, so what different ways do you use to open your session? Anyone?
I do trainings in lactation and breastfeeding test skills to the nurses and healthcare professionals. So I generally open my sessions with introduction, introducing myself, and also introduction of the all the members who are participating, so that we can familiarize with each other. And also, I would like to know their names. I will ask them to write a sheet name of it and pin it to them, so that whenever I want to ask them somebody, I can just point them. So generally,
Great.
I start with the introduction of each other. Like
Okay,
I introduce
you start
myself.
with introduction. You start with introduction. Excellent. Somebody else who does do it differently?
Madam, I generally.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. Like
1 second, let Dr. Mehul finish, and then you start. Yes, Dr. Mehul, go ahead.
Sorry. So I prefer to have a small video at the start of my PPT and give them the understanding of, if that video can at least bring up the reason or the purpose why they are going to be, attending this seminar or attending that PPT or attending the training session. And probably then try and grow the interest, and then try to match up with the audience by understanding at what level of understanding, or at what level are they, from where I can then nurture their knowledge and then bring them up to that standard. So I show them the standard, and then I try to assess where are they in their knowledge bank, and then try to help them up.
Okay, great. Somebody was answering, and after that, Dr. Suyog. Somebody was answering. Sorry, I stopped you.
So, ma'am, I start with an ice-breaking activity. And then probably I introduce a topic, and then we start with the session.
Okay, great. Yes, Dr. Suyog.
So I do it with the introduction is also with the with an activity. So the person does not introduce himself. It's the other person who is sitting next to him. He will introduce. That is one way. And when we come to the main session, what I try to do is I have all my stationaries with me. So right in the beginning of before the start of the session, I have a tree drawn there, and where there are different routes. I gave it to a set of I make 4 groups actually for those. So one set of people participants would be for roots, some would be for fruits, there would be some thorns, and there would be shrubs. So the roots are the basic core activities, or the core competencies that you would require. The fruits are the results of those core competencies. Thorns are something which are the challenges, and the shrubs which are these are obstructions. So these so I basically do into family planning. So this is related to the family planning services that are being provided at the grassroots level. So that is how I try to engage. And this whole tree, when it forms, it makes the basis, and I keep it for all 5 days, so that they have that visual all the time. So that's how the context is set for them.
Okay, great, interesting. So, Dr. Suyog, I would want you to make a presentation on this tree concept when we are talking about pedagogy. I mean, this will be a new concept for everybody. So take those 5-7 minutes. I will discuss with you, but I would want you to do this presentation so that it's a new learning for all of us. I
Sure.
would want something like this to be shared with us. So the whole idea is, please remember, the opening has to be very, very impressive. Please remember, like we say, well begun is half done. It's actually true. If you have not been able to make an impactful opening, if you fumble anywhere, if you are not clear what you are going to say, if you don't know what activity you are going to say, if you don't know what dialogues you are going to say, you will lose your audience, and it will become very difficult to get back their confidence. So make sure that you have practiced your initial dialogues and also the activity in such a manner that it should look like a natural act. Be it an online program, be it on site. It doesn't make a difference. In both these situations, please make sure that your opening of the program or a session has to be very, very impactful. So when either you start with an activity, or you start with a video, or you give them a puzzle to play, that's up to you. But when you are doing this, you need to be very, very confident of what you are doing. Anywhere, if you appear not very clear of what you are wanting to do, you will lose ground, and it will become difficult for you to capture their attention. So some of the ways I have mentioned here, maybe that will help all of us also to see what more we can add to our program. So as I said, that you should clearly know how you're going to do it, what is going to be your opening dialogue, the activity that you're going to do, and practice it so much that it looks like a very, very natural act, that you are thorough with your work. So some samples of impressive opening that I can suggest is, like, for example, a lot of time when the audience is not interested or is not aware why they are here, you will come across situations where they'll come and sit, and when you ask them, do you know what this program is? Yeah, we have heard it's probably about communication. So what do you want to learn? And they'll be looking at you without any this thing. So I do it very often where I see this kind of a response. Yes,
Ma'am,
please.
we face many times. That's the reason I was about to say. Whenever I start training, I first ask them what for we are gathered. I
Okay.
ask them that why you are gathered here. First, you say me.
Yeah.
Then only I start it, because until unless they know what is the purpose of their coming,
Yeah.
like they think कि चल मतलब सब मिलके कॉन्फ्रेंस हॉल में जा रहे हैं, कुछ ट्रेनिंग होगा, ऐसे मैंने सुना है, मैडम विल टेक द
तो
ट्रेनिंग.
निवेदिता, इसमें इंटरेस्टिंग,
मैडम इट्स अ
निवेदिता,
नॉर्मल थिंग.
इसमें एक इंटरेस्टिंग एंगल और डालना.
Yeah.
मैं जब ये क्वेश्चन करती हूँ, when I ask this question, so naturally you will not get very concrete answers because they are not even very clear why they are here. So what I ask them, how many of you are fond of window shopping? So usually 1 or 2 or 3 people will raise their hand and they'll say, yes, we are fond of window shopping. And then I'll call them. I said, okay, let's both go for window shopping. And then those people who are sitting in the front row, I will say, assume that these people are selling something. And we are going from one to one, and we will buy. We are not going to buy, but we are going to check what is available and what is the rate and all those things normally you do. So I would go with that particular participant to 1 or 2 or 3 students. Somebody we will look for phone, with somebody will ask for the cost of bag, and then one will ask for the pen or copy, but we will not buy anything. Now then I ask this participant, okay, now assume that we are out of that shopping mall. Now suddenly you realize that you have left your bag and the phone that you had in your hand in one of the shops. Now we both have to go back and find out where I left it. So naturally, we both again go back to the same shops. And then I ask her, now since you have lost your bag and your phone, what do you think will be your approach? What do you think will be the approach if you have lost your bag and your phone?
Be very serious.
Madam, I have
Will
to
be
go
serious?
and ask.
We'll go and ask. We'll be very serious.
And more focus.
We'll be more focused, humble, requesting.
That is the main thing, requesting.
Requesting.
Yeah, ma'am.
I said, when you come for a program without knowing what is the objective of the program, you have come for window shopping. And when you know why you are here, what do you want to learn? That should be the way we come for a program. Never sit in a program without knowing why you are here. So they suddenly realize that, oh, we are not even knowing what we want to learn. So without actually making them feel uncomfortable, I let them know that you have not done your homework. A lot of time I start my session like this. So I find it a very interesting way to engage my participants, because they become more serious when they realize that they are not even knowing what is the purpose of the activity. You can also start with showing some serious data where they get to realize, oh my goodness, that's the study. It says that surgery performed on wrong part of the body in 97 cases in the year 2021 under NHS. Or 90 patients actually, a foreign object was left in the body after the procedure. So these are not small numbers. They are good enough to stir any kind of, seriousness and discomfort in people's mind. So when you show such data, or maybe show some interesting picture and ask them, can you figure out, how many faces are there in this picture? How many faces are there, by the way? Two. And somebody once said three. I don't know. Where is the third one? I don't know if you can locate it. So the whole idea is, when you start with something interesting, they become interested. Again, you could start with experience sharing, that one day I visited here and this was my experience. Or the whole idea is, when you start with something that they don't know or they were not anticipating, they will become interested. That's about making the beginning. Now, coming to the presentation part, make sure that you create lot of experiential, opportunities, learning opportunities. You could have role plays, self-introspection activities, group discussion, question answer, because content has limited value, but experience has a long-lasting impact, and you will see your audience will quickly become engaged with you, because they have started enjoying what you are saying. So make sure that you create multiple opportunities for experiential learning. And then when it comes to the format of presentation, make sure that your segment is not longer than 90 minutes. Build activities into each segment so that it captures their interest. So after every 10 to 15 minutes, there should be some activity. Even when you are, getting into question answer with your audience, when you are able to kind of, throw some critical thinking questions or creative thinking questions, they become interested and they enjoy. Make sure that you include visuals and hands-on opportunities, and also provide opportunities for repetition and reinforcement. As a trainer, you have to project enthusiasm, confidence, and encouragement. If you are not, full of energy, you are not confident of yourself, your program is not going to make that much of impact on your audience. To ensure participant, you will have to actually try new things. So you can vary the group size. In one occasion, you can include the whole group. In the other occasion, you can just, engage people on one table and make them do something. Or it could be 3 people and doing, some activity, or you can even pair them. So when you vary group size, there's a new member, new interaction, new interest you will see among people. You could also vary the approach. When I say varying the approach, as I said, that you could ask questions, thought-provoking questions. You could make them do some brainstorming. Maybe when you give them a case study or a situation which requires deep thinking, or something like creative thinking, where you ask them to think, write, and share with each other. Give them a problem and ask them, how do you think we can work on it. So you are making them think and write. So these are different ways. When you use these ways in your way of delivery, you will see that they will become interested and engaged with you. You could also vary activities like quiz, flip chart, reading demos. I'm sure you all must be using it. You must all be doing it, and make sure that you integrate them in a very regular manner, so that you are able to engage your audience. Even the recognition can be varied. Maybe you could just say thank you, wonderful, what a nice answer, spot on, so that they feel that their contribution is being appreciated and applauded by you. You could also make other group members clap for that particular answer if you think that answer was really spot on. So the whole idea is, when you are able to create, engage your audience using different approaches, automatically you will not have any feeling that, oh, they are not with me. They will always be with you. Third is providing evidence. So whatever message you have given, you have to provide evidence. So what evidences do you think we can provide? Write in the chat box. Write in the chat box, what evidences do you think we can provide? Mariam, you are not able to see the presentation, Mariam? Mariam, are you not able to see the presentation?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not able.
No?
No.
Maybe log out and log in once again if you want. All others are able to see? Yeah. So Mariam, log out and log in. That's better. Yeah. Okay. So what answers have you written? Okay. Facts and figures from recognized bodies, like who's so sources, reliable sources. Okay. Some data from surveys or studies, absolutely. Trends, yes. Some published reports, some survey reports, absolutely. Peer review journal, something like more national or international studies, yes. Testimonials, even newspaper cuttings, incident reports from hospital, yes. So that means automatically they will trust what you are saying. One second, let me admit Mariam. Okay, so as I said, when you provide them with some uh, evidence, automatically what you are saying becomes more trustworthy for them. So facts, figures, data, research reports, exhibits like newspaper cutting, pictures taken on site, demonstrations, role plays, skits, videos, illustrations. These are various ways you can use to kind of evident your point of view. Then even examples, personal experiences, and analogies, they are also good ways of creating evidence or providing evidence. Testimonials and reviews are also good ways to create evidences and also share with your audience. Now coming to the closing part, how do you normally close? How do you normally close? Normally,
summarize and take home messages.
okay, that's a good way. Summarize and take home messages. What else?
All group, I try to give a pre-test and a post-test.
Okay. Of course, pre-test and post-test should be given, but that's not closing actually. That's for another reason.
And of course, the take-home.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are the key points which are there? So,
Yeah, I think the whole idea is that if you are able to kind of, make sure that there is not only some takeaway, but also they are able to repeat what they have, learned. So when you ask them, okay, what is your takeaway? Everybody will give 1 point. So it will serve both the purposes. In a way, you will be revising what has been done. And also, you will be able to see what has been their takeaway. So ask every participant to share at least one takeaway. You will see everything will be covered automatically. Now, very quickly, let's understand what makes a successful facilitator, because some personal attributes, some personal qualities will help you to make a good, successful facilitator. Enthusiasm, passion, and commitment. I think these are the basic qualities each one of us need to have, especially when you need to remember that you are the engine of the program. till the time your team is with you, till the time your audience are with you, you'll have to really actually hold them and take them together with you. So you really need to have the kind of energy so that they become part of the program. They kind of become equally interested. But otherwise, initially, if you are not able to kind of hold their attention and not able to demonstrate enthusiasm, and that would only come if you are very passionate about what you are doing. Otherwise, it would be displayed that you are doing it for the sake of doing. See, initially, every program will appear dicey. You will also feel that probably I'm not welcomed, or maybe these people are not interested, or I'm not doing very well. This can shake your confidence. But please remember, keeping patience and having tolerance to ambiguity and giving your 200%. You will see things will change, people will become interested, and things will become favorable. But you really need to have patience to initial ambiguity, because initially people will be judging you, people will not be agreeing with you, people will still be evaluating your content, your delivery, your knowledge, your expertise. Have patience, be 100% sure of what you're doing, prepare yourself 200%, give your 200%, and you will see slowly you will be able to earn everybody's trust. Being a trainer, you will be going places, you'll be meeting new people, you will be having new experience every time. So you need to be open to new experiences and new people who are hesitant to develop relationship and professional rapport, I'm talking about, with the new people. They will find it hard to connect with audience, because for them, if they want a fixed kind of a setup, that's not going to happen when you are doing training program. So one has to be really open to the idea of new opportunities and new and behavioral flexibility to adjust to the new circumstances will give you more confidence in your work. Just yesterday, when I was doing this program at BGS Hospital, Bangalore, so the management had asked me to do the program on essential skills in patient handling. As it is, I had little doubt that should I be doing this for doctors, because I normally, if I'm asked that okay, do something for our doctors, I would prefer something that I think that they will be happy to receive. And if you start talking basics with them, they are not really very happy. They feel, oh, this is something we already know. But because these people had asked me to take this up, I decided, okay. I had put my presentation, I was waiting for the audience to come, and meanwhile, one or two doctors came in and we started having discussion. And I could see that they were all very senior consultants. They were really thorough with their work. I could, imagine that this is something, it's not going to make sense to them. Then when everybody was in, I admitted very clearly to them. I said, see, I have come prepared with a topic that I think will be too basic for all of you. And I feel you're already doing such wonderful job. So if I talk about the basic skills like building rapport and listening attentively and empathy and assertiveness, I don't think you will really be interested. So I can also take other topics like this. Do you want to change the topic and do something that makes sense to you? And meanwhile, one of the doctor had shared one incident where the patient had behaved aggressively, and even this doctor reacted in an aggressive manner. So I said, Dr. So and so shared his experience, and he did ask me, how do you think I could have handled it differently? Because he had to face the brunt of the situation, because he also acted aggressively. And then I said, if you want, we can take up this situation and we can have a discussion around it. And then I can also help you learn your communication style and what is the better way of handling it. They said, more than happy. I changed the topic, the delivery, the session without actually even discussing with the management, because I could sense it that I need to do justice to the assignment that I'm given. So for your programs, for your session, you need to have that kind of cognitive flexibility, where you are not mentally fixed to what you have come prepared with, but what you assess on the ground, and accordingly you are ready to make changes. That's what is going to make your session and your delivery impactful. You will come across people from different cultures, different background, different profession. So interpersonal sensitivity and cultural awareness and respecting that is something that that will help you develop rapport with all categories of staff. Your audience come from different background. They are facing different challenges and different situations in their personal life. A lot of time we say something that may not make much sense to them because it is difficult for them to apply that as it is. So we really need to have that empathy and compassion for them in case if they are not able to apply whatever you are saying them, because you don't know what challenges they are facing in real sense in their work situation. So we really need to be oh, sorry, somebody had 1 second. Yeah, Nivedita was probably out. Okay. So we need to have, as a trainer, I think we need to be more empathetic and compassionate with the audience. That will help to get their, cooperation with you. Okay. There is no replacement for honesty. As a trainer, you have to be a role model and also be honest to what you say. If there's a dichotomy in what you say and what you do, you have already lost the ground. People will not trust you. They will know that you are doing this just for the sake of doing, but in reality you are a very different person. So that's a beautiful way to work on yourself and improve your own self, because when we do something good, I think we also evolve in that process. So it's a wonderful way. When some wisdom passes through you, you become wiser every time. Sense of humility, I think that's another important virtue which I feel every trainer should have. A lot of time, a small amount of arrogance or overconfidence can destroy your well-run program. So please be always, aware of the fact that your audience is very knowledgeable, very learned. They have their own experiences. Being arrogant, being rude, snubbing them, making fun of them is not the way of life. And also we have to remember, I think whatever we are, it is by the grace of God, and we have to always be thankful for the opportunities that we get. I think attitude of gratitude is something that I practice and I recommend to everyone to be happy and happy in life. And sense of humor, again, I have seen trainers having excellent sense of humor. If you can use it, in your way, nothing like it. But please remember, never make fun of anybody. It's better to laugh on yourself rather than laughing on somebody else. People will love your simplicity if you are able to laugh on your own silly mistake or something that you did and you feel that it was very silly. And but I think we have to be very careful when we are using humor. Sometimes it can backfire or misfire. But if you can do it, nothing like it. Personal awareness, all of us have some hot buttons, some triggers, some issues, some vulnerabilities, some insecurities. More you know about them, and earlier you start working on them, better it will be. Every time you sit and reflect, I'm sure you will get to know what I did wrong, what I need to improve. If I kind of snubbed somebody, or if I was rude to somebody, or if I was partial to somebody. So these things we have to keep working and improving as a trainer. And it's a journey, honestly. It's a journey. 1 second. Let me now take you to, give me 1 second. Yeah. So a couple of more tips to effectively facilitate your program. I think first one that I would like to share with you is about asking questions to your audience. Ask open-ended question, and When they answer, please pay attention and praise for their contribution. Acknowledge each answer, appreciate by recognizing their attempt, and then listen attentively. A lot of time we pay more attention to some participants and we ignore some. I think that would make them disinterested and disengaged. So make sure that you give, attention to and importance to all the audience, all the participants. Creating a safe and a supportive learning environment is very important, because as I said, some people would participate and some would not. So make sure that you encourage participation and engagement by all the members, and ensure psychological safety of the participants, probably who are less vocal. You will see some people who are not very confident, they fear, or probably in hierarchy they may not be that well placed, so they may not participate or they may not answer much. Make sure that you are able to make them comfortable. Also keep an eye on the non-verbals. A lot of time you'll see that there are certain non-verbals that are communicating something to you, and you are not notice them. You will see the consequences of it, in a while. So establish ground rules right in the beginning to create safety for everyone. So if you remember, when we started our session, I brought in those some rules that please make sure that you are respectful to everyone and you maintain the decorum. The whole idea is that everybody should participate, because we all know that without participating, you will not learn. Even when we speak, I think we need to remember that we have to be mindful of others and speak for ourselves. Allow others to speak, give everybody a chance to contribute. Confidentiality can be highlighted, because a lot of time people share their experiences, so we must respect the confidentiality of their content and sharing. Feedback, when people give, remind them to focus on strength. A lot of time we find, especially when we will do role plays, you will see that we have a tendency to say, oh, this was not done right, or this should not have been done, or this should have been done. But the ideal way of giving a feedback is 4:1. That means 4 strengths and 1 error. Some four points that say what the person did right, and then 1 point that you think should have been done differently. So, and this we will practice when we will do the role plays from session 5 onwards. As I said earlier, also now also trust is earned. It takes time. As a trainer, you need to have time. Even to the audience, you can announce that I am not expecting you to have 100% interest trust right in the beginning. Take your time, but just participate so that you get to really engage in the session. I think this is an important part. You will see that there will be some, distraction. There will be some subgroups formed. So manage group dynamics, by keeping an eye on the direction of the group. If you see any subgroups, handle them carefully, because you have to run the show. So you should know how to handle those subgroups, how much to interact, and where to, draw a line. There can be disagreements. People may not agree with you, but when you're handling disagreements, you have to be careful, because a lot of time when you you are blunt in disagreeing, that itself can trigger further conflict between you and the participant. So be very careful, pick your battle carefully. If you really think you need to address that disagreement, you can disagree, or you can say that's your opinion, it's perfectly all right, I respect your thing, and go on, rather than proving that no, what you're thinking is right wrong and what I'm saying is right. Also, when you're handling disagreement, please do not immediately negate that you disagree. If you say no, this is not correct, no, this is, again you are actually calling for more trouble. You could even ask others to give their opinion. Probably when others say that no, what the other person is saying is not okay, automatically it becomes, it gets dull and void. Also, smartly handle the disagreement by adding the correct information while appreciating the attempt to reply. So the person feel that, okay, my effort to reply has been recognized. It's okay if my answer is not all right. And nobody knows the 100% exact answer. It's always when you discuss, you get to know. Next is managing disruptive behavior. I think this is something that's an interesting thing to learn. And we might slightly overshoot today, maybe 10 minutes, because we started 10 minutes late. I hope you remember we started at 8:15 today. So very quickly, I want I want a volunteer who is ready to talk on importance of communication in healthcare. I want a volunteer who is ready to speak for 2, 3, 4 minutes on importance of communication in healthcare. Anybody? Chalo bhai. Chalo, Dr. Priyanka. Okay. So, Dr. Priyanka, I'm giving you a minute to write down your points, what you are going to speak in maybe 2, 3 minutes, not very long. Okay? And I'm putting you to the waiting room so that you can, peacefully think about it. Okay. You can put down your points on a piece of paper. Okay. So, Dr. Priyanka is in the waiting room and she's going to come and make the presentation, but we don't have to let her present.
Madam, you're
So you will have to disrupt her presentation. So how all can we disrupt?
Talk in
Madam,
between.
I'll pardon myself because the last time I did it, she didn't appreciate it.
Quickly, she must be ready with her talk. So somebody will start talking on phone. Yes, Doctor. Yes, Seema ji. What will you do? Unmute करो पहले तो अपना device.
We are ready, ma'am, with the activity, ma'am.
Okay, so how will you disturb her? My question is this. Somebody should
Ma'am,
cross question.
I'll ask some, that illogical question.
Yes.
Which
Somebody
is not
should.
I'll be on the phone. I'll be on
Okay,
the phone.
let somebody be on phone. Then
I'll be on the phone.
somebody should challenge her. Somebody should say your voice is not clear. Somebody should say, are you not speaking very slow? Can you come to the point? Why are you taking so long to come to the point? Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we'll ask for her apology after this.
Yeah, we'll say sorry.
Yes, Priyanka. Are you ready with your points?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I am Dr. Priyanka and I am working as a gynecologist now for almost
Ma'am,
20
please come to the point because you have only 2 minutes time. Please, we know that your name and everything. So please come to the point.
Yeah, so I would just like to say from the time patient, okay, am I audible?
Ma'am, you are not audible at all, and I think some darkness is also coming at your back. We can't see your face properly, ma'am.
Not audible.
Okay. I will.
Ma'am, now you're not visible, ma'am. You're not visible properly, ma'am. You're not visible, ma'am.
I am so sorry. I will just try to adjust my video and my audio again. Am I audible and visible now?
Only half
There's a
of
lot
the
of disturbance in the noise is there. Someone has unmuted himself. Kindly unmute yourself.
Yeah,
We are not able to hear through the.
lot of disturbance.
Yes.
In between.
I
Yeah.
request all of you to kindly mute yourself.
Please,
Everybody has
if
to
we can just let her
I have to
continue.
unmute
It's already 10. It's already 10.
Yeah,
Can we please just come to the
it's too much noise at the back. And now we cannot see the face of the speaker.
If you can hear me, I think I will be able to just summarize.
You're very slow. I mean, why are you so slow?
Okay.
Yeah.
I am.
Only 2 minutes left
everyone
now.
is getting that.
Speaker cannot
No problem.
Dr.
If
Priyanka
I am,
cannot even start the session now. In the 2 minutes is over.
Is this session on communication? We are not able to hear anything.
No, 2 minutes over already.
Are we done?
Okay, then if
Are we
I
done?
write in the chat box, is that okay?
Dr. Priyanka.
Yeah, let
Pardon me
everybody
for this.
open the chat box.
Enough, yaar. Leave her now, please.
Yes. No, I have had a sample of the same because the last time also the activity was.
Ma'am, please come to the point,
Let
ma'am.
everybody
Seemaji, you are too much. So
I got a lesson on how not to communicate.
They made sure that you are not able to speak more than 2
Let
words.
everybody open the chat box first. Yes.
So this was to give you all an idea of disruptive audience. You will come across such situations where your audience will just, will be
Last time only
hell-bent on
one
this.
person was there. This time everybody is attacking.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's how we really learn how to handle those situations. And I thought that this is something we have to be ready with, because you will come across that situation. So, we can actually categorize people who disrupt the session in 3 categories. The first one is it's a low degree kind of a disruption. So people who are Dr. Priyanka, you wish to say something?
Share one small experience from my medical college days when I was a assistant professor.
Sure.
We used to have theory class 1 to 2. I used to tell all the students who want to eat, because 1 to 2 theory class, they are going to be sleepy. Most of the boys, I'll tell them, if you're sleepy, at least even if one student is paying attention at the day, so they will, those who are not interested will be in the background and then eating biryani, all that. And the postgraduates will tell me later, all of this appeared on Snapchat, that this is the class going on. But at least even one student was able to attend.
So you got a taste of what is happening. Huh? So a low degree kind of a disruption is where you will see people are daydreaming. They are not there, but they are just physically there. You can see from their body language that they are again disinterested. So is somebody now giving me the taste of disruptive? Okay. So from their body language, you can make out that they are not interested. They will not participate. Either they will be on cell phone. I mean, you will see that they are just occupied. Some of them will enter late, leave early, come back, go out. I mean, without any even taking permission from you. You will see that they will be moving in and out without any proper, decorum. Then especially in online program, you will see they'll keep their camera off. How much ever you will tell them, they will not listen to you. They will not, cooperate. So these are mostly low degree kind of disruption, which do not disturb you unless you pay attention to them. A lot of time you can actually overlook these things. You could focus on people who are interested, but you will also see if a lot of them are doing the same, then it becomes difficult to handle. Then probably you will have to really assert and communicate and check with them that what do they really want. But if it is just 1 or 2 odd people, I think even if you overlook it, it doesn't make much of a difference. You can continue with your presentation or your discussion. The moderate degree of disruption is when people actually verbally disagree with you, or they kind of show distrust in your work. You will see, they, like I told, this particular person, the moment I started my session on the day 1, his first question to me was, ma'am, do you have any experience in hospital? Have you worked in hospital, or you have just come here to teach us theory? So imagine somebody has been invited to your hospital. Your hospital is, arranging everything, and the way you are kind of interacting with the faculty. But you will come across even people like him. Like the other experience that I shared with you, he said, how can you call healthcare industry? Healthcare is not an industry. So this is not a low degree kind of a disruption. It's a moderate degree, because right in the beginning, if somebody challenges you or your content or your topic or your presentation, you would lose confidence. Especially if you are new, you will actually shake. You will lose confidence in yourself. So this is actually a moderate degree of disruption. You will also see a lot of people will be sitting in the classroom, but they will be doing something other than that. Maybe they will open their laptop, or they will open a file, or they will start writing some notes. That also could be very disturbing to you, very upsetting to you, and that will actually not let you focus on what you are doing. You will come across people who do sidebar conversation. They would talk to left or to right or to somebody, like, I mean, unnecessarily. You can hear that sound, murmur sound. Somebody is talking, you will not be able to actually identify what it is, and anyway you ask what it is and who is it, nobody will tell what it is, but you can still make out that there are people who are talking in between and they are disturbing you. And there will be some who will be actually passing sarcastic comments and disturbing you again. That's again a moderate degree of disruption. It's not easy to kind of accept, because it's not comfortable to always stand a sarcastic comment, but then you need to have thorough knowledge and confidence to handle that sarcasm, and check with all others if they agree with the same comment. That will give you support from the audience. The high degree of disruption will be when they are aggressive, either towards you or towards others. You will see that they will not only be aggressive with you, but they can be aggressive with the fellow participants also. They may dramatically exit from the training venue. That is still okay, but a lot of times you will see they will start actually threatening you or the other participants. I will see you come out and I will tell you what it is. So that's very dangerous when they do something like this, or they may make a remark which is very, very disparaging. So these things will definitely disturb anybody. So for that matter, I think one thing we have to remember: don't take it personally. Low and moderate degree can be managed, but of course the high degree should be taken seriously. It should be reported, or maybe you can take a call if you think you are not safe or your participants are not safe. Please involve management in that. But low and moderate, I think with time we all learn how to manage that kind of a disruption. So don't get into argument with them, because if it escalates, it has happened once with me. It has happened once with me, and that was the point where I decided to go for Dale Carnegie program, because one of the professor argued with me, and I mean, I didn't realize that he would be actually bombarded with all sorts of questions and also misbehavior. Of course, the management people were there and they intervened, but I felt that I should have been more sure of how I want to handle it, or I could have actually avoided the argument and I could have done better. But we learn by making mistakes. Of course, sometimes when you see them, they are not able to concentrate. Could be that the management is really very bad, or they are actually suffering so many things that they cannot sit and listen to you, something that is not very essential for them according to them. So at that point, probably you'll have to actually search for a grain of truth, try some sympathy or empathy, and listen to their point of view. Now, quickly, so can we take an additional 10 more minutes? I have 5 slides, but they are very important. Is everyone okay with that? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Very quickly, I'll go through, but it's an interesting discussion, so you will benefit from it. So we have categorized these disruptors. There are people who will do a lot of talking. We call them talkative. So people who would comment often, they will take much longer. They will mostly dominate the discussion, and you will see that they will not give chance to others to speak. So how do you handle them? I think the best way is to handle them, recognize what they say and what is their contribution, and then pass the question to others. So you must have seen when I specifically say I want people who are not answering to answer. Let others also speak, or you give one point and let others also speak, because all of you have so much of knowledge that you feel like sharing with everybody. But the idea here is that everybody should share, and therefore such situations you can handle if you can respectfully move on to the other people and ask them to answer. You could even target questions to other participants by calling their name and say, Mariam, can you answer this question? Nivedita, can you answer this question? So what I'm doing, I am specifically telling the name and then the question. So it becomes very clear to all others that this question is for this particular participant and we don't have to answer it. Also, in a physical setup, when you are taking a session and you see some of your participants are really answering a lot, but it is not giving chance to all others to speak, so you can avoid making eye contact with them. Ask a question and don't look at them. So unless you look at them, they will not start answering. They'll keep waiting for you to make an eye contact. But you can look at the other section of the room and you can ask somebody else by even showing hand or maybe calling name. So that's how you can handle these people. And also, when they talk and you think they're taking longer than they should be taking, the moment they pause to take a breath, please thank them and move on and call others to speak. Or maybe you can say that, sorry, we cannot go on discussing this, we have some more points to talk about. So this is about talkative people. Now you will come across people who are chatterers, who are sidebar conversers. So they will talk to person on left or right or front or back. I mean, they will just be engaging and also disturbing everybody. I'm sure you must have seen such people in your audience. So strategy to handle such kind of people is ask them to tell what they are discussing. Even if you become quiet for a second and look at them and say, I'm waiting for you to finish. Even that would be a good indication to them that they are disturbing others. Or you can actually restate the point that is being discussed and ask, what is your opinion about it? So that way you are engaging them in the discussion. The third category can be interrupters. So interrupters are people who would either agree, disagree, or they'll make another point a lot of time. So again, they will be disturbing the flow of the session. To such people, I think you really need to be, very clear about how much content we have to cover. So if you make up, kind of an outline of what you're going to cover in the next 2 hours and tell them that, see, we have covered only 2 points and there's a lot to be covered yet. So, and we have to cover before we close. So automatically this discussion will go on till 3 o'clock or 3 hours. You can also early in this session tell participants that please you keep your questions and comments ready, but we will take them towards the end of the session. Last 10 minutes will be for the question answer. But I think that is something I would not really honestly encourage, because if I want my audience to learn by participating, it can't be at the end that they will be sharing. Nobody will have the time and energy to sit and then share their experience. It's only in the moment when you want to talk about that issue or topic that you're talking about. But yes, in case if some people are really disturbing and you are hard pressed for time, you can sometimes use this technique when the audience size is very large. There you can use something like this. And then also, these kind of participants can be kept busy, engaged by giving them some interactive learning activity. So automatically there is less of talking, but more of doing. So the person who is more of an interrupter, you can also engage them into doing some brainstorming activity or some activity where they become part of your team. You are engaging them with them. Another category is arguer. So these are the people who would actually consider themselves as expert, and they will be actually, kind of sharing their knowledge, their expertise, their point of view, and they even don't hesitate correcting even the presenter. They say, I think you're right, but I have another point to add here. I think what you're saying is making sense, but I think these are a few more things that we can add here. So you will see they will always have something to add to what you are saying. Sometimes even that could be even incorrect, but they will definitely do addition to what you are saying. So again, acknowledge them and thank for the contribution and move on. So again, don't encourage them to continue answering and adding to what you are saying. Also, if you find merit in what they are saying, say thank you and acknowledge and move on. And in case if you think that what they're saying is not making sense, you could even throw that question to the audience and ask, what do you say? So you will see when others will say, no, I don't think what the other person is saying is making sense, they will actually realize that people are not agreeing with me. In case what they're saying is not making sense or you don't agree with that, paraphrase what they have said and then ask them, can you explain what exactly you mean by it? You will see a lot of time people speak at a very superficial level. When you ask them to elaborate or explain further, they don't have much of deep understanding. So that also is another way to kind of quieten them. And then, as I said, ask someone from the group to comment, and you will get to see that if they don't agree with that comment, automatically they'll realize that they are not talking very sensible. Another kind of disruptor would be who are very silent type. So these are the people who are sitting there in the classroom, they are not interacting, they are not answering, they are not just participating. That could be because maybe they are shy, or they are insecure, they don't know, they are indifferent or certain. It could be anything. So to engage them, I think it's very important to ask them questions that you think they will be able to answer. So if you give them that question which they will be comfortable answering, they will slowly start participating and engaging. A lot of time, if it is one or two people, you may even have to ignore them, honestly, because you can't be after them. The more you will nudge them, more uncomfortable they may become, and more, it will become more like a tug of a war kind of a situation, that you are pushing that person and that person is not opening up. Or you could ask a question to the group and suggest that all participants please share one point, but never start with them, because if you start with them, then it will be a very poor start and everybody will hesitate answering. So maybe you can start with people who are happy to answer, and then come to this person and ask this person to share their opinion. Respond with positive enthusiasm when they contribute, because when they contribute, if you encourage them and support what they're saying, and acknowledge their point of view, they get encouraged. Last one, very often you will come across, and that is electronic device enthusiasts. You will see them sitting and just being on phone. They are just not able to stop working on their phone. So strategy that would work with these people is, right from the beginning, if you can say, I request all of you to put your phone on silent mode, and it's better if you put it in your bag. If it's very urgent to attend, please go out and attend. Do not attend the phone in the classroom. So you are clearly telling them that this is not acceptable. Again, you should have solid strategy to engage them. If you are able to engage them, automatically they will not be able to look at their phone. It is also all right sometimes to ignore and move, because again, you have to pick your battles. You need not kind of fight with everybody to just follow the decorum. There will be outliers, you can't help it. So to sum it up, I'm repeating the same points. Don't take it personally, avoid argument, because unless it is really very upsetting and disturbing, most of the situations we are all able to handle amicably and control the situation. So this brings us to the end of the session. I know I've taken 15 minutes extra. I will not take further time. If you have any questions, I can take it. And in next 2-3 minutes, we can close the session. Okay. So I don't see.
Madam, the last few slides, if you can send us some of the points, because those are very important.
I will do that. I will send that. Otherwise, YouTube video में सब कुछ आएगा आपके पास में.
That's true. Thank you, madam.
Yeah. Okay. So the list of pedagogies that I have shared, it does not cover everything. In case if you have another pedagogy that you think it's interesting and you have found it very, very useful, please share with me. Tell me that I want to talk about this pedagogy. The format of the presentation from the next session onward will be, one, I've shared the list. Please write your name in front of the pedagogy that you want to do. You all can edit that list. I have given that right. You can edit that list. If you are not able to edit, you will be asked to send a request to me to give you access. If you send it to me, when you send it to me in email, I will immediately give you the right to edit. You can add your name. Once you have written, let me share the screen with you. I think then probably it will be easy for all of us to quickly see the whole thing. Give me 1 second. Okay, so these are a couple of points. So you will have to pick one pedagogy. So you can see it is storytelling, then demo, then experience sharing, then using speed meeting, reflective questioning, creative visualization, case study with brainstorming, handling difficult audience, using quiz. I have written around 20, but I have also written, I've left couple of the rows empty. If you have something like, for example, Dr. Siyok talked about that tree, drawing a tree and then connecting with the audience. You can first discuss with me, explain to me, and if that makes sense, then we can take that up as one of the pedagogy. So in front of this, you have to write your name. So for example, if I remember, Dr. Praveen had said that he will talk on case study with brainstorming. Am I right, sir? So I'm writing your name. So that means you will be making a presentation on this topic. So please do not remove anybody's name. Otherwise, it would be. Please correct me if if I have written wrong spellings of your surname. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So do not remove anybody's name. In case if you want to change the topic, discuss with the person and then write. So I have written it here. After this, after you have written your name here, now you have to also block your schedule. So the presentations will be like 3 presentations every week. 5th session onwards. 4 sessions are over. 5th session onwards up to session 9. In the 10th session, I don't keep any presentation. So from 5th session onwards, you have to, block your week, whichever week you want to do it. So write your name here and the topic. Right now, all the slots are open. But once, if
And
somebody has
some
written, sorry?
4 have already written. I have just sent the latest Word document is edited with 4 names in them. And
So you don't have to send me the document. What you people are doing, you are sending me the document. The moment you will edit, it will be seen it will be visible to everybody, not just to me, but to everybody. Anybody who will open the document can see which topic is taken by whom.
Basically, whenever we edit or write something there, it
Hmm.
asks that whether you want to discard or keep the edit. When we say keep the edit, then they ask save. And save where they say cloud, your device. So there is
How
nothing,
come?
something
It's a
like that.
Google
You just
document.
enter and save it.
No, Dr. Praveen, it's a Google document. I don't think it should ask you because
Yes.
in Google document it is already saved.
I don't know, but something
So
that
maybe
was
you are
repeatedly happening
downloading.
with me.
So, Dr. Praveen, maybe you are downloading the document and then editing. Then in that case, it will ask you to save.
Okay.
You don't have to download. You just open this document.
I'll try again. And if there is any problem, I'll
You
ask
can
you.
get in touch with me. I'm available tomorrow, day after. There's no problem.
Right.
I'm not in
Right.
any training program, so I should be able to respond to you. You just have to write your name, whichever topic you want to take. Like if for this topic I've written here. Yeah, I can see
Yes.
somebody has come in.
we can write it now also.
Yeah, you can do it right away. Yeah. Somebody has come in. Who has joined? Priyanka, is that you?
Yes, but I
Yeah,
have to.
yeah. So similarly, all of you can log in, open the document, write your name, and then choose the slot here. So once a slot is booked, then you will have to take the other slot, whatever is available. And in case if there's some challenge at your end, between you can exchange your slot. I don't mind. You can exchange your topic. I don't mind.
So
But
the name has to be written with the date. Like now it is written on 7.
yeah.
It has
So
to be written-
session wise, there's no need to write date. This is session 5. See, first 3 topics will be in session 5. Next 3 will be in session 6. Similarly, 7, 8, and 9. In session 10, there will be no presentation. So I think now I can see some of you have already logged in. That's very nice.
But not able to edit.
You're not able to write?
On the schedule part,
Which one do you want to work on? Take your cursor and then.
I think you have to give us access to edit, ma'am, because I am also not able to edit.
Give me a second. Send me a request. I will right away give you.
I have requested the access.
Yeah, I have received.
I have requested.
I am giving. Yeah, given. Archana, even you have asked. Yeah, give me a second. Okay, given. Dr. Priyanka, giving. Okay. I think now you have enough.
No, yeah.
Have you received the request? I mean the editing rights?
Yes, ma'am. I'm able to edit now.
Yes, yeah.
Archana, write my name in ice breaking.
Ma'am, please give me also the right for editing. I cannot edit, ma'am.
So you have to send the request. Actually, once you are not able to edit, it will ask you to send the request. I will right away give you the right.
Ma'am, even I am.
Ma'am, I have sent in the 19th point. I have already sent it to you, I think so.
But that's
Hope you
not
have received
okay.
that.
Nivedita ji.
Interesting activity of communication gap.
No, you
Yeah,
have to
ma'am.
enter yourself, please. Like now, Archana is adding.
I think one person can do it at a time, ma'am.
Yeah.
I am not.
No, not like this.
But I am not. I have sent requests, but I'm not able to for the ice breaking activity. Okay, now I can. I can only.
But I am able to type right here.
I
Nivedita,
just closed, so I think maybe somebody else will be able to type now.
yeah. Nivedita, आपने क्या topic लिया है?
Madam, the 19th one, interesting activity on communication gap.
So I'm writing your name. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have taken reflective questioning.
Very good.
Ma'am, can you please help me? I want to take this topic on interesting activity on listening skills. This is Lavanya this side.
Number bolo.
Ma'am, last, I think it's 20th.
Okay, Lavanya, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Priyanka,
Okay.
I want to do this ice breaking. 6.
Number bolo, number.
Number is
11. Okay.
Ma'am, reflective questioning is mine.
1 second. Dr. Priyanka. Spelling गलत है ना?
ANK.
ठीक है? Okay, Dr. Priyanka. And आपका कौन सा है?
Reflective questioning, ma'am.
I'm not able to see who is speaking.
I'm Seema Wilson. Seema,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
The number बोलो कौन सा है? Reflective.
Number 5, Seema.
5.
Number 5. Okay.
Hello, ma'am. Number 3, Neha.
Okay. Give me 1 second. If we are able to write type together, I can see somebody. Neha, you are typing already.
Yeah,
No,
Archana.
I am doing
I'm
this
not
actually. I
typing.
am doing it.
Archana is typing. Great.
Yes. If
Yeah.
somebody can tell me also, I can help ma'am in typing.
Yeah.
Mariam, what
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah, 14.
14th.
Write my name against number 3.
Yeah, it's
May I
written.
know who is speaking? Neha. Yes, I have written
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Schedule will be on 9th September.
Mariam, when do you want?
On 9th.
पहले
9th.
5th को कवर करो. 5th को कौन कर रहा है?
Me also 9th.
Who is? 1 second. I'll just review the Mariam and I'll come back.
And Neha.
I'll take
Okay.
on 7. Seema.
Okay, 1 second. Neha is also on 9th, right?
Yes.
Seema will be on 7.
Okay, ma'am. 1 second. Naji,
So very quickly, I just want to tell you some things about the presentation. If you can hold on for a second.
Sure,
See,
ma'am.
you all have to pick the topic and decide when you want to do it. After that, you have to actually write the presentation and a small write-up on that particular pedagogy. So in the format, you have to actually first give the demo of the pedagogy. For example, storytelling. So maybe in a minute's time, you will share a story with us, and then you will say, I have introduced you to a pedagogy called storytelling. And then you have to say where it can be used, advantages and disadvantages, do's and don'ts of the pedagogy. So, and the whole presentation has to be for 4 to 5 slides, and the total time that you will spend is not more than 7 to 8 minutes maximum. That's all. You will share the PPT with me, discuss with me after you share the PPT. If I have anything to guide you, we will definitely connect on phone. I will let you know what needs to be done. And then once it is done, then you record it for yourself on your phone to check if you are able to cover the whole content in 5 to 7 minutes. If it is longer, please cut down the content or modify whatever modification you need to do. Once you are sure, then you are ready for the presentation and you will present it. So who all are presenting in the next session? I want to know your names. Number 5. Session 5. Who all are presenting?
What is there in session 5?
If you don't present, then how will we cover all the presenters?
एक मिनट
Archana ma'am, write my name in 8.
Please device is unmuted. Please put your device on mute mode.
Archana ma'am, write my name in 8.
મને આ મમ્મી ખવડાયું ખીચડી ખવડાવી
Can you mute your device, please?
Archana ma'am, can you write my name in 8?
Who is speaking?
Nivedita.
Nivedita, I have written your name. No, you said you wanted me to write on. I think.
No, you have written. I said on 8th
Okay,
session.
okay.
I will
Session,
yeah. You have written on 19th. It's 19th one.
Okay.
Yeah.
टॉपिक क्या था आपका?
कम्युनिकेशन का
वही है. She's writing. Yeah.
I have written.
So who is presenting in session 5? So if you are not presenting in session 5 and 6, and if there are no more time slots available, then you will have to record your video and share in the group. Please remember. If you are not presenting, suppose session slot 5 and 6 are not used, then naturally those who are not able to complete in 7, 8, and 9, they will have to record their complete presentation and share in the group. In the last group, 5, 6 people have not done the presentation. They have not received their certificates. I'm very particular about it. 4 participants from BGS hospital, last time they did not complete their requirement. They attended the whole program once again. They're going to make the presentation and then they'll get their certificates. Please be very clear. You cannot claim your certificate till you have done the presentation and till you have attended all the sessions. I hope it's clear to all. Should I close it?
9
Yes,
names
ma'am.
are there already because 9 people are only showing up. So
Sorry.
No, how many names have been written? I think 9 names are written.
Yes.
I think few people did not attend it today, so that's why. So might be they will also.
But only 5 names are written. What I can see here is 5 written.
Only 5. Only 5 names.
9 are still like okay. 8.
प्रियंका, आपका slot कहाँ है प्रियंका?
I will be on 6th session because next session I may have another program. I may get late. That's why I'm not.
Okay, Archana, you please write.
Session, yeah, please 6th session. I'll write. And Lavanya, please take out your session.
Mine is 11th session on session 6. The 11th.
Yeah, I'm doing that, Dr. Priyanka.
Lavanya, what about you?
Hi,
Dr. Suyog.
Can you add my name on number 15th?
Dr. Suyog.
Yeah. 15th one, creating interesting activities
Number
around.
5.
And I have already shared that in the group, but if you can write it in this sheet also, for 6th,
Yeah.
for the 6th session, session 6. And
Is it the 15th topic,
yeah,
Dr. Siyog?
yeah. And
Yeah.
and in the sheet and the table below, you can.
Mhm. Yeah, I have written it in the table below also.
Okay, great.
Archana, also, please give me a slot on the 6th itself. My topic has already been updated. It's
6th, actually, we are already full. 3 people are already there on 6th.
maybe on 7th then, because I'm not sure that whether I would be available. Ma'am, are we having this class next Friday or on Thursday?
Thursday.
Okay.
Let me check. I hope there's no challenge. Thursday.
Lavanya, shall I give it on 5th session?
Ma'am, is it okay if I leave?
Yes, please. Yes, I think we should close, and I'll share the feedback form in the group. Can I close this?
Yes, ma'am.
But you still have access to the document. Don't worry.
Okay, ma'am. I will, if anybody can message me, I can definitely add their names.
Chalo. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, you can put this up in the
Good
group
night,
also,
ma'am. Good
ma'am.
night,
If
everyone.
anybody has not attended the class, then they can
You
message
can
me.
write it. Archana, you can communicate. You can.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Good night, everybody.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Good night.